Having the worst movies.
Chapter
I don't
20.
care.
No, I assure you, everything is fine, 3PO, said Leia's voice, looking about just as unhappy. Wait a minute. This isn't the book of Boba Fett. What is this garbage?
I don't care.
Have movies and shows just become trash that was once great literature? Well, I'll take that back. I'm not sure if you could call the book of Boba Fett great literature. Welcome back to the couch. The couch.
Sounds like what Bill Cosby said.
Way to bring the mood down, Mr. P. We could watch Tam and Pommy. It's on Hulu right now.
Tam and Pommy? You mean
Tam and Pommy. You know, Tam and Pommy. You know, Tam and Pommy.
You mean Motley Crue? Wait a minute, I already seen that movie. It was called The Dirt on Netflix.
Oh, yeah. Hey, you want to watch Marvel's The Eternals?
Hey, that sounds like a fantastic idea.
And, Mr. P, we better watch this movie soon, because you know how HBO Max and other streaming services are. They take the movies right before you get to watch them or do a review on them. So, are you ready to watch Marvel's The Eternals?
Oh, wait a minute. Hello? Oh, go screw yourself. I gotta go. Apparently, I have a new thing called a podcast. I still have to learn about it.
Podcast? Wait, you have a podcast?
I gotta go.
Oh, okay. I could go. Yeah, I mean,
I'd be happy to do this any other time, but I'm not gonna have to watch this Marvel slog today.
It's finally time. It's finally here. Years of anticipating the most dark, confusing, loud, explosive, and longest movie ever. And nope, I'm not talking about a Zack Snyder film. Angelina Jolie and a cast of all actors star in a new Marvel movie together, and a twist and a plot we've never seen before. Heroes teaming up together to stop the bad thing from happening, and an all-new origin story. Punching, monsters, overacting, a nonsensical plot. And now you can finally watch it at home on Disney Plus. And also other streaming services. Check it out.
Why didn't you guys help fight Thanos?
This planet brought everyone back with the snap of a finger.
Woo! Okay. Well, hello and welcome everyone to a very special episode of Greenlight Cinema's Half and the Worst. I'm Brandon Pacheco, and it's nice to have you guys back with me. I just finished watching Marvel's Eternals on my iPhone. It was, oh my god, but it was like, right in the middle of it needed, at times it could have gotten a little bit of,
This is Icarus. We have the place surrounded. Come out with your hands up. Everyone, now.
this guy would torpedoes. Hey, I'm Superman Icarus, and you know what? Just like my Greek mythology story, I'm gonna fly into the sun for no reason long. Yeah. Laser eye. I'm a girl. I want to be a woman and have kids and babies with a man that looks like Superman. I build technology. I'm an engineer. What did I do? Oh my god. It wasn't that bad, actually.
It wasn't that bad, actually. I enjoyed the movie until I didn't. And Patton Oswalt shows up and there's a fun troll, and we find out Thanos has a brother. Yeah! Woo! How do you top this movie? Well, now seriously, let's talk about Marvel's The Eternals. Of course, all that was just for a joke. I don't know what to say about this movie at this point. I mean, it was kind of fascinating. It was a little odd. I mean, I don't want to get into too many spoilers, even though I just kind of did in that intro. But, it starts off just very weird. And it's like a opening title crawl, but not like Star Wars text or anything. It's just like in the beginning. All these singularities, something about Infinity Stone, before Infinity Stones, before the Big Bang, before all of this. I don't know. It's a big mess, but it's not hard to follow. It's almost like sitting just in a float tank watching money burn on screen. There's so much, I don't even know where to start with this movie. Oh my gosh! This is Marvel's best DC movie I've seen yet, if they've ever made one. The color scale and grading was weird and like completely off for a Marvel movie. It felt, I say Zack Snyder-y because this felt like Zack Snyder, Joss Whedon team up again. It's like, wait, what am I looking at? It's like, okay, close-ups, 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 close-ups. Weird forced in humor, close-up. It was, I don't know who was in charge of cinematography, but it was a little all over the place. Like, it looks like a Zack Snyder movie. And I'm not familiar with the director before. She seems to be pretty good, I guess. It reminded me like the color scale of like Wonder Woman, which is fine because that's a DC movie. But like Marvel's its own thing. I don't know what I was expecting going into this movie. For years, I wrote down a few notes. As I always do. For years, I'd seen that they were making this movie. Real quick, a lot of people, if you guys don't know about this, I brought this up maybe a couple of times. I'm a fan of Silicon Valley. And I love Kumail Nanjiani. I was so happy to see him in this. And I read somewhere, like in a bunch of different places on the internet, that he is the new Wolverine. Look out, Hugh Jackman. Here comes Kumail Nanjiani. And it was like a joke at first. We're like, what is this? What are we getting? Really? Another Wolverine? Great. And so I go in thinking for years and reading articles, he's the new Wolverine. And I'm like, fine, I'm excited. Let's have Wolverine as kind of a jokey character. I don't know if Marvel's ever had one like that. I've always known to say, hey, bub, and just be Hugh Jackman. So, real quick, and the Happy Meal came out, and I was confused, which I want to get into that, by the way. Who is this movie made for? The marketing and stuff. I've not yet seen a toy made for this movie, except Happy Meal wise. My kids looked at these Happy Meals and was like, what do we do with them? And I'm like, I don't know. One character's arms does this right here, and I later found out she runs fast, and I'm like, that's not the appendage that runs. Maybe, like, have a button in the back, it makes her legs go fast. But her arms are just doing this right here the entire time, and it's like... I looked at the toy months ago, and I noticed that he didn't have anything coming out of his hands except fire. And I was like, maybe he shoots fire? Even in this movie, I was dumb enough to believe going into it that there was going to be fire that shoots out that looks like Wolverine's, like, claws. That would be too cool, I guess, to add. Why was he even compared to Logan and Wolverine in the first place? Was he just going for Hugh Jackman's body type? I'd like to really know. If someone has an answer to my question, please comment down below. I'd really like to know. But I will say Kumail Nanjiani doesn't disappoint. He is like real quiet, reserved. They're all like that in the beginning. And like the Superman character, he's so annoying. You can just see his like twisted conflict coming a mile away, and it's like the dumbest thing ever, because that's where I start thinking like, who's this movie really made for? Who's the core target audience? Because like, it's interesting, I guess, if you're an adult, but like kids, I don't know if they would really understand all this. It's not Dune, but oh my gosh, like Denis Villeneuve. Oh my gosh, that man knows how to direct a movie. I want to do a Blade Runner review. Oh my gosh, my mind wanted to explode because, you know, I watched Tom Watts' fun Spider-Man movie and didn't have hardly any qualms about it. You know, it is what it is. You know, you watch a Marvel movie at this point, they're colorful, they're funny, they're like a comedy in some ways, sometimes. But then, like, this is just like, what am I watching? What is this? Like, this feels like a giant social experiment. Like, what if Marvel had control over DC? What would it look like? And if you've ever wanted to see, and I kind of have a little bit, this is what you'll get, I guess. I mean, and they bring up Batman at certain points, and the stupidest thing, real quick, I know that I'm all over the place, and I apologize, because I don't want to give out every spoiler. This movie's just weird and bizarre enough to where I am going to recommend it. I think I judge movies whether I'm bored or not. And I think I was only bored maybe just a couple of times in the movie where like characters are just standing around and they're doing the close-ups and like, what are we supposed to do? Selma, I'm a big fan of her. Halleck, I guess is her name. She's in the movie for various parts of the film, and I liked her performance a lot, and I thought it was very interesting. I wrote all this down. They're very spiritual people, I guess you could say. They have a master that they serve, and he's Hiroshima, something crazy name. Her name, I wrote Ajax, because that's what it sounds like they're calling her. You know, we have the bad guys, I guess. I don't know who's the bad guy. Well, okay, Icarus, I guess. Our Superman, Icarus, who inspired the Greek mythology story, I guess, and also inspired Superman from DC Comics. As like Marvel, I guess, in this movie is like, hey, you know, you guys ripped us off enough, so this is our little chance and thing for you. And because I say that, my two favorite characters, or three maybe, were Kingo and that engineer guy. I love that engineer guy because he's he's like the most realist, grounded, relatable character, I think, to anyone in this. And like, I don't know, like I found him absolutely, there's like 19 characters. I'm sure there's not that many, but it felt like it. It's too many people to keep up with. And here's the thing, like, I think about going into, you know, Infinity War or Endgame or Guardians of the Galaxy, and you see all these characters and you're not like bombarded like so much. But this movie, it's like, this is this person, this is this person. And here's the dumbest part by all of this. From what I remember, like none of them have like any like spectacular powers, but they're told never to use their powers, because there's a scene with Shishi, and I'll put her picture right here on the screen. I was like, okay, what's going on here? Her boyfriend's like, it's his birthday, and she's like, reminds me of like Wonder Woman in a way, like, oh, I can, you know, find many good things because, you know, I've been around for, you know, centuries or whatever. And it's like, okay, cool. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, earthquakes start to happen. I mean, before that, they show the Eternals like helping out the human race, And I love this one part. I did get a laugh out of it, is when like the engineer guy's like, hey, look what I made an engine. And they're like, and it's still like BC, and they're like, whoa, 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 that's too much, that will blow their minds. And he's like, okay. And he's like, what about the plow then? There's many fields that need to be plowing. And they're like, oh, that's just good enough. The biggest useless character that I wrote down was Angelina Jolie's character, Thena. She is a train wreck in this movie. I don't know who to blame for this. Is this the writer's fault? Is this the director's fault? Is this Angelina Jolie's fault? Did she just check out of this movie? Did she look around and say, oh my gosh, I am too good for this? I've been in better movies. Like, I don't know. Her character is useless and brings nothing but pain and destruction to her team. Like, her team could be having the worst day ever of like these deviants. That's why they couldn't fight Thanos. It's like a little throwaway line. Why couldn't you fight Thanos? Oh, we were told not to. Oh, okay. And then the movie goes on. Angelina Jolie's character is a horrible mess. Or maybe it's just Angelina Jolie. I don't mean to be hard on her, but like, I was like, who is she and what is she doing? She doesn't help anybody in the movie at all. When her characters are fighting these deviants, she starts getting mad and fighting her team. And it's like, wait, whoa, like, why is she a part of you guys? And then they're like, we're going to wipe your memory out because you're too freaking dangerous. And she's like, no, I'll be better. Stop. And like the other guy, I liked him a lot. He mentions Batman and I laughed. He dies protecting her. Spoilers at this point. He dies protecting her and she acts so emotional, but she's cut this guy up and beat him up and you know what? This movie knows life. It does. A woman and a man, they can go through all these emotional, physical scars together, and then they're still like, I love you. You win, movie. Love when Kumail Nanjiani, he's somber and real, and then in present day, oh my gosh, we get the full show, and he's like, this is my grandfather, my other grandfather, my other grandfather. He pretty much got into movies on just false pretenses and his way of doing like fire hands, I guess. But it was funny though. They never aged, so that was his thing. Like, that was my grandfather was in that one. And so I built up a dynasty and a legacy on just me. And it was so great because he's got like, it reminds me of Borat, Hazmat, I think. And this guy's like, just has a camera with him all the time. And at one point, like, he loses his camera like 3 or 4 times in this one like scene where they're having to fight like all these like deviants. They're like, rah, and then they're just fighting them, and like this camera gets broke, and someone throws his camera, and then the sprite looks at him, the kid, and she's like, how many cameras do you have? And I was laughing because that was exactly my thought too. I don't know. That was fun. Like, all the stuff with, like, Dinesh, Kingo, all the stuff with Kingo's great. I love Kumail Nanjiani. I don't want to give out a whole lot to this movie. It's not a whole lot to this when they have to assemble their team. It's kind of funny. I laugh to myself because, like, they're like, oh, yeah, we need an engineer guy, don't we? Oh, yeah. And his kids are like, hey, it's Superman. And I was like, oh, my gosh. And I got it right away. They're like, we seen you in the comics and the movies with the red cape and it's like, oh, DC copy, okay, or supposedly. Whatever. I don't know. They're like, engineer, we need your help to stop all this. Even though Superman's like secretly behind trying to foil all this, it feels like it's so counterproductive for him being there because we know that he's going to betray the plot. You just have that feeling. He seems very conflicted, and then he finally does give us the big reveal. The movie's like, we have too much to get onto, to talk about. And if I'm being honest to God with you guys, I hope this is a fair review. I hope I'm covering every single character. because everything gets resolved at the end, kind of. And this is me ending the review. She got sucked up by the celestial master Hiroshima with like Kamal Nanjiani and the engineer, and they all get sucked up, and he's like, okay, you are coming with me, and I'm going to talk to you about you disobeying what my orders was for 7,000 years. And then we cut to the post-credit scene of Patton Oswalt being a drunk character named Pip from an Adult Swim show called Smiling Friends. And then Black Adam, or no, Thanos, I don't know, Thanos' brother character is like, he's not purple. And I'm like, why is he not purple? And so the movie made me have to go do research. And apparently he doesn't have a bad gene in him, but Thanos had a bad gene, and it made him purple? That's all I know. I'm Thanos' brother. I'm also a celestial, or internal, or whatever, and if you need help finding a creep, well, I'm the man for the job, because I look like Shazam. For some weird reason. I don't know, like, did Stan Lee write this? This doesn't feel like a Marvel comic or movie. I have weird mixed feelings about this movie, and I heard there's already, of course, an Eternals 2 in the works, but it's like, how does any of this tie into anything? Like, I don't know, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Black Panther, like, to me, that's like all super, very interesting. Things like that. And then we have like Eternals, which feels like a what if almost. And like, what if the Avengers never existed and the X-Men, and like, you know, you just lived in a world that had DC Comics and they were like making things up from history because Marvel created history or something and singularities. I liked this movie until I didn't. I might have already said that. This movie is great if you have absolutely nothing to watch. And I highly recommend it as something. It's kind of fun. It has a weird sex scene that was like really fast and a little just like, why is it in this Marvel movie? Like, again, it doesn't feel like a Marvel movie. It just felt weird. I don't know. What is this? All in all, it's a decent movie. Check it out. Highly recommend it. It's on Disney Plus. If you want to stream it right now and watch it, please be sure to give me and Mr. P some review requests. We're always looking forward to doing movies, especially ones that you, the audience, pick out. And also, like this episode if you hadn't already, and subscribe to our channel. Alright. Okay, thanks guys. Bye!